Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to another video. Brian here, Brian's Lawn Maintenance, and today we're over here at Weingart's giving you guys 7 buying tips to help you purchase your first or maybe your next commercial zero-turn mower. Now, we are over here at Weingart's, Farmington Hills, Michigan. Shout out to those guys. Thanks for letting me film in here. They got all those sales guys working the phones. It's busy actually over here. Get ready for that spring rush. Here's what I want to do really quick. A lot of you guys are just getting started in business, or maybe you're looking to buy your second mower. Whether you bought the first right mower or not, that's a whole nother debate for a whole nother time. But what we can do is help you buying your next mower, or maybe you're getting into business right now and buying that first mower, help you guys with some good buying decisions. Now, of course, these are my hot tips. These are my top 7. And I got one bonus tip I'm gonna give you guys as well, so make sure you guys watch all the way through to the end. Now, that being said, once we go through these tips, make sure you do link up with a good sales guy at your local dealer to help you facilitate the sale. But at least this way you can get educated before you ever walk into the floor or the showroom floor, or before you ever make that buying choice. Let's go through these really quick together. Number 1 is the dealer and the service. Okay, so a lot of folks always ask me, are we Team Exmark or John Deere or Wright? The answer is yes. Or whatever our local dealer sells, that's the actual answer, is the yes too. For us personally, at Weingart's, we are over here, and these guys sell Exmark, a little bit of Cub Cadet, I believe, back here. But for us personally, here's my thought process, and here's what I've always said on my videos, even from day one. You buy the brand that your dealer sells and can service, right? So if you have a big affinity towards John Deere, but the nearest dealer is an hour away, and your local dealer 5 minutes up the road sells Cub Cadet, then you're probably going to utilize the Cub Cadet brand to help you grow your lawn and landscaping business, okay? So go with the brand that your dealer sells and supports, because getting the mower service is just as important, if not more important, than the actual sale of the unit, all right? Tip number 2, we're gonna go through this quick, is the deck size. For some of you guys out there, you can see we've got mowers of all different capacities and all different sizes, right? We've got maybe a 40 or 44 inch. You know, we've got a 48, we've got a 52, there's a 60. Some of the bigger mowers, maybe the stand-ons, they have 72s, right? Some of those big mowers back here, 96s, 144s, right? So buying the right deck size for your mower is extremely important for your business, and not only for your current needs, but for your future needs. One thing I'll give you guys, then I'll try to leave a link in the description. I think it was episode 152 on the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. We talked about buying the right size mower, the right size mower deck, and a bunch of other great tips. I'll try to leave an additional resource for you guys to check that out. Super helpful podcast that we did a couple years ago. Still super timely, and really helps with buying decisions. But here's the deal. If you guys have a bunch of gated backyards, a 52 or a 60 might not be the best mower for you. You might come on down to the 44s, the 48s, the 36s, the 32s, the 33s, the 30s, right? It just depends on what your brand is offering. So before you just watch somebody on YouTube and you're like, hey, I need a 36, or you watch somebody on YouTube and they got a bunch of big 60s, right? You have to figure out what type of clientele you are getting, and that is the kind of mower you need to start with. My suggestion is always start with, if you got a bunch of gated backyards, start with a 30 or 32 or 36. You can always backfill later with a 52 or a 60. If you have a bunch of medium-sized properties, maybe you want to start with a 48 or a 52. If you got a bunch of wide open properties, maybe a 60 or a 72. All right, those are some quick helpful tips when you guys are trying to buy your first mower, is the mower deck size. All right, let's keep going. Next one I want to talk about is horsepower. I'm going to go to some of these other mowers over here because the engine options are entirely different than this row of stand-ons over here. Generally speaking, you want to find a mower that has 25 to 27 horsepower or above, and we'll get into that and a reason why. Most of the mowers these days are starting with engines with that size and capacity. For most of us with our commercial mowing, wet grass, tall grass, especially for some of you guys that have fescue or maybe some thick Kentucky blue, you're gonna want 27, 29 horsepower and above. Again, you'll see a lot of the different engine offerings from Kawasaki, Vanguard, Kohler, right? 37 horsepower. The FX801, this might be 34.5 horsepower. I don't know the exact stat or displacement on this engine off the top of my head, maybe a 29 horsepower. The walk-behind units, maybe 18 to 20, 24 horsepower, right? Just depends what those guys have for an engine. But the rule of thumb is 27 to 29 horsepower or more for your sit-downs, and at least 24.5 or above for your stand-ons. Now, quick tip I was gonna leave here is make sure that you get more horsepower than you need, because you're probably going to grow into the machine, and 24.5 might be great for wide open mowing in the summer, but when you get that wet, tall, thick grass in the spring or maybe in the late fall, you're gonna wanna have that 29 or 32 or 34 or 37 horsepower engine offering from some of those brands. So don't be chintzy, don't be cheap, right? Try to throw down a few more bucks to grow into that next engine to have a little bit more horsepower than you actually need. All right, by the way, we're cutting through this pretty quick. If you guys have some other tips that I might have left out or might leave out by the time we're done with this video, maybe leave them in the comments section down below to help the next guy out. Maybe I'm leaving a couple out. Next one, what is your grass type? What are you cutting out there? Talk about your discharge chute opening. A lot of different mowers have a lot of pros and cons. I will tell you the Ultra Cut deck with Exmark does a great job with wet grass and dry grass. The Skag Velocity Plus cutting deck, amazing deck. Stripes like nothing, it's amazing. That side discharge is like 15 or 18 inches. That's a great mower and a great mowing deck for a lot of you guys that have big lawns that you have to discharge a lot of grass. However, that might not be the right mower for you if you're in certain places where you bag, right? So take Walker mowers or I don't know, some other different great brands out there, maybe something with a bagger. Make sure that that deck is capable of bagging year-round. An Exmark Laser Z, probably not the best bet, but maybe an Exmark Navigator or a Walker mower for bagging, that could be the right mower for you. Pacific Northwest, you guys are always dealing with wet conditions. Find the local brands out there that do the best with that turf type and those conditions versus just finding your favorite YouTuber online and, oh, he runs Skag, I'm gonna run Skag. Don't make purchases that way, okay? Find out what mower works for you and what deck works for your area. I will tell you, I've had some friends buy some mowers around here and they do not cut our turf type at all. And they end up finding out that that mower is great for the South or maybe the Southeast region, maybe Florida, Georgia, and now they have a $9,500 paperweight up here that doesn't even cut Kentucky Blue, even with 2 cuts or 2 passes. Okay, so make sure you find the right deck for your mower in your area, all right? Number 4 or 5, wherever we're at on this list, is talk about accessories. Accessories are a huge one. You guys might see that some mowers have striping kits, discharge blockers, chute blockers. They might have lights or light bars. Of course, baggers. You know, the new Exmark X series I know that are coming out, they'll have bagger options. That's awesome. Maybe have a little garbage catch or something like that on the side, or light bars. Toro Multiforce, right? You might have LED lights around the whole unit and can swap out to a plow or a leaf bagger or the mulch force, right? Accessories are huge when you're looking at how that piece of equipment can be utilized year round, but not only that, you can grow into it again. Okay, so that's something to think about. Let's say you want to move mulch one day with your mower. You probably can't do that with an Exmark Vertex. That might take you off that platform to the Toro Multiforce line, and you might have to utilize that platform for the jobs and the tasks that you want that equipment to work for you and your business moving forward. Does that make sense? So accessories are a huge one. Next one, let's keep going. Personal comfort and preference. This was one that I was talking to a couple folks, which was, you know, my guys are super tall. They're all like 6'2", 6'3", and some of the pads just are a little shallow or too low for what they prefer, maybe on the Exmark, you know. Now I will say, I don't know if there's an X600, there's over here, the Cub Cadet. My guy Rob, when he was demoing this a little while ago, absolutely loved the Cub Cadet pad. He liked the bolstered sides. He said this platform was more springy. He really enjoyed it. And this was just a better comfort for him. So it's personal preference. And you might jump on the Exmark and say, I don't like the pad. I don't like its adjustability, so on and so forth. Those are real things. When you're going to be standing on this thing or sitting on one of these mowers for 1,000, 2,000 hours, you want to make sure it's comfortable. You like where the control placement is. You like where the hand placement is. You like the actual mower deck lift assist up and down, right? Oh, this one's too heavy, or this one's too light, or this one's too springy, or this one's too bouncy, right? Every mower is different, so you have to figure out your personal preference on each one. By the way, that relates to doing a quick demo. If you guys are able to do a demo at your dealer, take one out for a day or maybe a week. I know a lot of that's kind of got a little wonky the last couple of years with COVID and all that mess, with machines availability and people lending out machines, but if you can, demo one from a dealer, and if not, borrow one from a buddy. And if you're gonna buy one or two of these things and drop 20, 30 grand, maybe rent one for 100 bucks for a day from your dealer or a local outdoor power equipment dealer, okay? Do some homework. Another quick one, obviously, is price. This is another great shopping tool, something to keep in mind. You might look at an Exmark 52, top of the line mower, awesome, just what our dealer sells, and we work with Exmark. I love Exmark, they're great machines. 13.5, okay, the Cadillac of mowers in my opinion. But you also might realize you can get a Cub Cadet X652, which these look like all 60s, but this is a 54, actually this is a 54, and you can see right now this one is, at least at our dealer, 10.59. So 10.5 versus whatever that said, 12.5 or 13.5. That says 12.7. Okay, so we're talking a $2,000 difference. Now, they didn't make this machine the same quality as the Exmark and make it $2,000 less, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys understand that. Not that they cut corners, it's just a different build quality. Maybe there's more bushings, maybe more grease points, maybe, I won't say lower grade materials, but there's differences between the two different brands, right? Does that make sense? Now, maybe this mower is something you will have on your trailer setup, but you're not gonna run 2,000 hours on it in 3 or 4 years. This might be a 10-year lifelong machine, and you needed a 54 for certain properties or to get into certain spaces. So this is all you need, right? And this will still log 1,500 hours, no problem. By the way, great machine, love the 54, love the 600. We did some videos on these back in the day with Cub. But the point is, that machine is $2,500 less or $2,000 less. And that is a huge difference for your budget. You're talking 15, 18, 20% more money. And if you're financing that, we're talking $20 to $50 more per month. So be cognizant of the price. But one thing I will also say is don't, of course, make all your decisions exclusively on price, because as business owners, we look for return on investment. You will make your money back on all these machines as long as you keep them moving, running 1,000, 1,500 hours plus before you trade them in. Or if you run 3,000, 4,000 hours on them and ride them until they die, you will 100% make your money back. So also, don't be afraid to spend an extra 1,000, 2,000 buying the nicer brand, the nicer machine. Stay away from the big box store stuff. Stay away from maybe some of the tool brands that are trying to get into the market. No shade, but find something again that your local dealer sells and supports and is a true commercial machine, and that brand makes that machine. They don't just re-sticker or rebadge it. Okay, does that make sense? The last one I'll talk about, and this is the bonus tip if you guys have watched the whole way through, and I'm just trying to move around, keep this thing moving so it's not just some static, boring video, is buy a machine that you can grow into. Now, all too often, we'll be buying a machine and maybe you're like, hey, a 48 or a 52 is all I really need, but you start picking up some churches or some big HOAs or some bigger lots, and you realize a 52 or a 60 is what you needed to get. Again, I'm not sure the difference percentage-wise between a 48, 52, and a 60, 20%, you know, more mowing deck, but the efficiency is similar, 20 to 30% more efficient. Okay, so let's say this mower can do 4 acres in an hour, but this one can do 6, right? We're talking an extra $50 to $100 per hour that you can run, keeping these mowers moving on different sites. So you can grow into them, right? Maybe you buy an Exmark Laser Z, whether it's an ES or X, but you don't buy it with a bagger, but you can buy the bagger later for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and grow into it, right? If you buy a 25 horsepower Laser ZE, you might not be able to buy a bagger later because it doesn't have enough horsepower on the engine, right? So maybe get that 29, 30, 34 horsepower engine on the S. Maybe you can't afford to go an X, but don't maybe do the E. Still a great machine, but if you want to get a bagger, maybe get an S or an X, right? Do some homework. Study your equipment before you guys pull the trigger on some of this stuff, right? You might see the 144 over here. I think these are 96s. But you might see a 144 and say 80 grand, no way. But if you buy this with another mower, maybe an E for 10 grand, you get fleet, you save $10,000, 15% on 100 grand. You just got a free Laser ZE out of this. Okay, so utilize fleet, utilize points, utilize those incentives that those companies have to offer. And I'll tell you what, some of these offers are starting to get pretty good again because the economy's slowing up a little bit, isn't it? Okay, so these are the 7 or 8 buying tips I'm going to leave you guys with today. Any of them that I left out, let me know, leave some comments down below. This is my short list. I tried to put some thought into this video for you guys. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Hopefully this helps you out. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Anything I can do to help you guys grow or buy the next mower or make the next right buying choice or decision for you, always here to help. If you're not comfortable leaving a public comment on YouTube, shoot me an email. I'll leave my email in the description as well. And if I can ever help you guys grow or pick the next best mower for you, I'll do my best to help you out. All right, guys, that's all I got in today's video. Hope this was helpful. If so, big thumbs up, super appreciate that. And again, thanks to Weingart's Farmington Hills for letting me film here. I'm gonna get out of their way. I'm sure I'm getting in the way of all the customers that are shopping around for new mowers, but that's what I got for you guys in today's video. Over and out. You guys have a beautiful day. We'll catch up with you guys here on the next one.